Very good afternoon to you. Thanks for watching the US special video forecast for today. We've seen a terrific rain event over the past 36 to 48 hours. We're watching a front move from the Midwest, producing showers and thunderstorm activity across places like Chicago, Detroit, through the Ohio Valley, and certainly from Saturday night in through Sunday morning. That's when we've seen some tremendous rainfall start to kick off across the I-95 corridor. Now, over the course of yesterday, which was Sunday, we've seen some tremendous rainfall records. Records fell, including JFK at 7.8 inches of rain. That actually becomes the wettest day on record for a 24-hour period at JFK Airport to the southeast of New York City. We also seen, I've got a couple of more interesting statistics for you. LaGuardia Airport picked up 6.6 inches. We've seen Newark at 6.4 inches. Philadelphia picking up 4.84 inches. Trenton, New Jersey, 4.66 inches. Bridgeport up in Connecticut picked up 2.75 inches. Now, interestingly enough, folks, the biggest rainfall total appears to be at Libo Beach in Long Island, Nassau County, where it picked up an impressive, remarkable 10.87 inches of rainfall. The problem is, folks, the reason for all the heavy rain is that this system, the low, which is still over central Pennsylvania this morning, had a trailing cold front ahead of it. As it pushed towards New York City, up and down the I-95 corridor, it then pulled moisture up from the Gulf as well as in from the Atlantic Ocean. Very slow moving. It's still raining there this morning. We've seen the very slow moving training of these intense bands of rainfall, and that's what's created all the tremendous flooding. New York City, many parts of it seen very deep standing water. We've seen a sinkhole in Manhattan as well, or certainly around the Long Island area, I believe. And unfortunately, we're going to be seeing a continuation of very wet weather again across the I-95 corridor. We've got a large trough in the eastern part of the United States, folks, so that's forcing cooler air down into the southeast part of the region. We're actually seeing the cold front push into the north of Florida, which is quite unusual for this time of year, folks, to see a cold front get that far south in August. Across the majority of the U.S., we continue to see very hot conditions across Texas, all the way from Oklahoma City through Dallas and Houston. We see temperatures over the past few days. We've seen Dallas and Oklahoma City not even hit 100 degrees because we've got a frontal boundary that's separating the cooler air to the north with the hotter, humid air to the south. As for Houston, Texas, today is likely to hit around 101, perhaps even 102 degrees. When that does so this afternoon, folks, that's going to break a record that stands from 1980. It would be the 15th consecutive day above 100 degrees in Houston, which is the most consecutive days any time in recorded history for Houston. So I'm sure folks across the Houston area is going to be dying to see some cooler weather. And unfortunately, the high that's been pushed slightly more towards West Texas, even into parts of New Mexico, that ridge, the core of the heat, is going to actually push back into central Texas over the next 24 to 48 hours. So we're going to see temperatures as high as 102 again, 103 perhaps in places like Houston, 103, 104 for places like Dallas and Oklahoma City. That frontal boundary is going to be pushed more towards the north. As for the rest of the United States, we're going to be seeing a boundary, a secondary boundary, that's going to favour showers and storms across the central portion of North Dakota, South Dakota, across into Minnesota today. And that boundary is going to push east over the next few days. So tomorrow, places like Chicago is going to see showers and thunderstorms, and by Wednesday, Thursday, we could be seeing it into the Ohio Valley. The latter part of the week, we could be seeing more wet weather for places like the I-95 corridor. Again, it's been so wet. Remember, folks, a couple of days ago we had tremendous weather across parts of the Ohio Valley into the northeast. We had Canadian high pressure, nice cool, low humidity, allowed temperatures at night time to really drop off quite well, because the lack of humidity, that heat during the daytime then can escape back up into space. Another little side note, folks, is we're going to be seeing highs rise over the next few days across the west. We're going to be seeing LA top 90 degrees for the first time since the 24th of May. So it just shows you how cool it's been this summer across parts of the west coast. I don't believe Seattle or Portland in the Pacific Northwest has had 90 degrees this summer. That's certainly going to be the case in the next 5 to 10 day period, as we see the ridge that's over Texas rebuilding, going to be eventually nudged westward again. So highs across Phoenix and Las Vegas could push 110 in the latter part of the week. And places like Houston and Dallas that's going to see another very hot week could see easing of those temperatures. Perhaps highs back into the 90s again. Certainly been a long time since that's happened in Houston. That can happen by this weekend, and certainly in the next weekend. Another interesting fact, folks, I want to point out is Galveston has seen 9 nights this year where the low hasn't fallen below 85 degrees. Now, although that sounds warm, what's significant about that is, folks, is that's actually a tie for the warmest night on record. So it's 9 nights, 7 of which were in a row, hadn't fallen below 85 degrees, which was at the warmest on record. It's a tie. Several occasions back in the past, temperatures have fallen to that warm low, but this summer alone has seen 9 of those. Across the eastern part of the United States in the next few days, we're going to see an easing of the rainfall, better weather by